Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hairdresser Strong News. And what does it have to do with you? So today's news is we got really great news, actually. We got an update from the Federal Reserve. You can decide if you think that's good news or not. Um, are hearing that, and interest rates might be changing sooner than maybe some people thought they would. And what does that mean? We also have a ton of a new research by the American Psychology Association, and it is on workers' satisfaction rates. They are going to surprise you to the upside. And we have some other data about Gen Z. We talk about a lot about, what is the newer generation, how people who are coming up with TikTok and Instagram, how what are you thinking? I would like to know what you are thinking. So please leave a message or shoot us an email at listen@hairdresserstrong.com, or you can DM us on Instagram at the Hairdresser Strong Show. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd also like to hear if you agree with any of this stuff. All right, so let's dive right in. Oh, and then at the end, I got something really interesting to share with your clients, little talking point, because I like to end with that. All right, so I'm gonna just share my screen. So if you're listening on podcasts, you can use the links to follow along, or you can just listen up. Here we go. This is CNBC. This is David Rubenstein interviewing Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell is the chairman of the Federal Reserve. David Rubenstein, he started and ran or runs Carlyle Group, just like a old, like long-standing investment group, kind of a big deal. And now I guess he's in retirement. He's doing these interviews. So if you ever want to hear really interesting interviews in the world of finance and economics and business, then you want to check out David Rubenstein. All right, here you go.
So the Fed has set a target for inflation of 2%. Now, can you clarify, does that mean that the inflation rate has to be at 2% before you're ready to move, if you are ready to move, or does it have to be within sight? And what does it mean to be within sight?
So when we change interest rates, that tightens financial conditions, and that in turn affects economic outcomes, growth, labor markets, and ultimately inflation, but with lags that can be long and variable, as Milton Friedman famously said. And the implication of that is that if you wait until inflation gets all the way down to 2%, you've probably waited too long, because the tightening that you're doing, or the level of tightness that you have, is still having effects which will probably drive inflation below 2%. So we've been very clear that you wouldn't wait for inflation to get all the way down to 2%. Our test has been for the past quite some time that we wanted to have greater confidence that inflation was moving sustainably down toward our 2% target. And
Okay, so why do you care about interest rates and inflation? Well, okay, so you got inflation. He's talking about 2% inflation. That's their target. And what he's talking about how they didn't want to wait forever for it to come down, because they're afraid if they wait too long, it could be actually bad for the economy. They are operating on lagging data, so that means their decisions are always delayed, based on delayed data. So they don't want to wait too long. And so what I'm hearing here is a narrative shifting towards preparing the market for the rate cuts to come. Rate cuts mean that expanding your business, or if your customers are buying a home, or anything that requires credit or a loan, is going to be impacted here. So that means, like, businesses, it's going to be easier for businesses to expand, which means they should pick up hiring in theory. I mean, I don't know that it'll happen all at once. Sorry. It does seem like the rates will come down probably pretty slowly. Some people are predicting they'll come down quicker, but that's what I'm hearing. So it sounds like a little bit of relief in the world of borrowing. So like if you're trying to buy a house or expand a business, or open your own business, waiting for these rates to come, and for waiting for these rates to come down, well, it looks like it's on the horizon, but don't get too excited, because they might not come down quick enough to be able to take advantage of lower rates soon, very soon. It could be another year, some are saying. Okay, so anyway, that's like, the big news. I always like to talk about that. Now let's just jump into some interesting stuff. So what I'm looking here is let's see, all the way. This is a big study. American Psychological Association. It's titled U.S. Workers Adjust to the Changing Nature of Employment. So they're making an argument here that all the work since the Great Resignation, after COVID, all the ton of employees were quitting their jobs and going to get jobs at other places. For our industry, we were part of the narrative, like we've been. And so it's not like this is necessarily new to us, but I do think that there was a big push for business owners to step up their game in many ways, considering the person more. There's it says right here, the American workplace is beginning to adjust to new norms after years of disruption, according to APA's 2024 Work in America survey. Workers are contending with the challenges and opportunities brought on by intergenerational workplaces, expectations around remote work, 4-day work weeks, and AI technologies. The survey also revealed adverse work experiences reported by those with disabilities and new evidence of the importance of psychological safety in the workplace. Even with all of this upheaval, job satisfaction remains a bright spot for workers as a majority report satisfaction with key aspects of their employment. So, there's a lot of us out there like super stressed out about the new generation of workers, and not necessarily young people, just like the new attitude of employees towards work. And well, guess what? The work that you did, if you're a business owner, or the pushing back you did against your boss, it worked. Like, it all seems to have worked. Listen to this. The most working adults report satisfaction in key areas of employment. Did the consistently strong labor market for the past few years compel employers to look at their job environments? Yes. Are we beginning to see the results of years of investment by psychological and leadership professionals dedicated to improving work conditions? Yes, for sure. Well, I would like to think so. Whatever the impetus, employed adults reported high levels of satisfaction related to key aspects of work. I'm looking at a chart here, and the chart says U.S. workers report high satisfaction with their workers and with their workplace. It says 92% of working adults said that they're satisfied with their relationship with their coworkers. 89% said they're happy with the work schedule. 88% said their relationships with their managers or supervisors they're happy with. And 77% said the opportunities for growth and development at the workplace they're happy with. These numbers are great. So good for everybody. We'll keep pushing and, trying to make everything better and greater and all that stuff and more vibrant and bring success and satisfaction to everybody. But this just goes to show that, even in a world of social media, let's be honest, that can really bring out some of the most toxic stuff. So it's no surprise that if you're on social media a lot, like I am, I mean, I don't like to think I'm on social media a lot, but when I'm looking on this topic a lot, which I do, when I look on this topic, I just see so much negativity and cynicism. So maybe it's just like a squeaky wheel trying to get some grease. It's like a small group of people are the loudest, especially when they have a microphone called social media, but it looks like everything is improving. Now let's go to another thing that shows improvements. So, all you boomers and people that have been going around telling Gen Z, talking smack about how they spend their money, no wonder they're broke. Well, like, one, let's not do that. And two, check this out. This is NBC News. You're gonna love this.
46% of them haven't started saving for retirement, and about 40% of them also don't see themselves saving or investing. So they are.
So she's saying about half of, according to these surveys that they've done. This is Bank of America. A new report from Bank of America showed that today's prices are actually hitting Gen Z adults hardest, is what if you want to check it out. So she's saying about half of them say that they don't think that they can get ahead because of finances, and they don't see themselves investing or savings. Now, that I've been saying is manifesting destiny. The more reports come out and saying the negative stuff, even though I just told you about this survey that showed that there's actually more positivity in the workplace. Well, all I hear is negativity around Gen Z's opportunities, and I'm really don't like I think it's important to be aware of that, but I also think it's important that we be careful not to sow seeds of defeat into anyone's mind and use more empowerment and engagement to help people grow. And by accepting this idea that, oh, I can't invest because I can't make any money, and that information is coming based off of my emotions about how I feel about everything based on my consumption of information. Now, it could be based on reality, but because that's what people say, no, you don't know, it's reality. Well, check this out. I can't wait for you to hear this.
Delaying some of those big milestones that you have early in your life.
Like you just said, they're not saving, many of them, almost a third, in fact, but they say that they would like to. They just don't have enough money to do that. For those who are trying to prioritize their finances, what did you learn about how Gen Z is dealing with this, with these high prices and trying to make those ends meet?
There's some good news here. Gen Z is definitely adjusting their spending. So,
boom, look at that. It's just a matter of time before people say, you know what? No, I am not going to let this negative reality hold me down and feed into it and just complain. Instead, people are smart and they pivot and they look after their interests, and it isn't our best interest to invest in ourselves, and some call that saving money. So that is what's happening. So it's like this is all positive. It's like interest rates are coming down, job satisfaction is high, and no one we can stop worrying about Gen Z being able to get ahead in life, because things are adjusting. Things are adjusting and it's looking up and up. I know this is a positive message in light of recent events and an election year, but this to me excited me this morning, and it's my birthday. It's my 40th birthday, so maybe I'm just trying to be positive about the world, but I don't know. This is lovely. So anyway, she's saying that people are starting to shift, and this is awesome. Check this out.
they're spending less. They're trying to spend less of their disposable income. They're changing their lifestyle. They're dining out less. They're skipping events with friends, and they're shopping at more affordable grocery stores. So the good news is they know they need a path, and they're adjusting their spending to help them get there.
Of course, these issues don't just impact you.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. It's all good news. Maybe all the work that we do getting here together to talk about this stuff is helping, even if it's like a fraction of a percent. Okay, so Fast Company here. They write in an article titled "The College to Corporate Pipeline is Facing Extinction. Here's Why." There's a secondary title says Gen Z is rejecting corporate work to embrace the internet economy. So I found this article. It's an interesting article. Check it out. But I just wanted to bring up this one thing. Like, yes, things are up on the up and up, and if anybody like myself is concerned about the success rate of cosmetology school students going straight into suites after school, well, worry a little less maybe, and maybe let's try to have more conversations about problem solving, because it says here 93% of Gen Z has explored business ownership options, and 75% plan to pursue an entrepreneurial career. The trend will have an immediate and lasting impact on how we work, hire, train, and make money. We're already seeing signs it will impact legacy sectors like the financial services industry, especially as more realize a lucrative career on the internet is as or more possible than succeeding on Wall Street. And so that goes to, like, there's so many ways to make money nowadays, and being behind the chair And having a suite awards you the freedom to be an entrepreneur who is multifaceted, and multiple revenue streams are a real trend in narrative right now. So this all makes sense. It all makes sense. It's like, oh, Gen Z, you don't know what you're doing going straight into business. So, well, it's like, well, you don't know what you're doing. You're not saving for your future. It's like, well, now look, we just have information that things are shifting. It's like when you have access to the internet, I feel like, the more on the internet you are, the more information you could absorb. And if you're using that time wisely, then it would make sense that people are adjusting. So like how can we help this process? How can we appeal as entrepreneurs? Those of you who are entrepreneurs on this call are on this podcast or video. How many of you can think of ways to help set people up for success now that we can see that this culture is just it's here, it is what it is. People want our entrepreneurship has a whole new, it's not just our industry. This is a greater societal shift. So I think it's really interesting. I love this stuff. I want to hear from you. I really want to hear from those Gen Z entrepreneurs. And so please, I'll be reaching out. Anybody knows anybody, please shoot it my way. I would love to talk to them more on this topic. And I love all the positive news. Okay, last piece of thing, last piece before I let you go. I said I like to end with a an interesting story to talk to you with your customers about. Climate, this is on CNN. Climate change is messing with time more than previously thought, scientists find. An article by Laura Pattison. Okay, so this just came out actually 2 days ago. And it turns out, this is really interesting. I didn't know this, but apparently this is kind of a known thing. But the impacts of human-caused climate change are so overwhelming, they're actually messing with time, according to new research. Polar ice melt caused by global warming is changing the speed of Earth's rotation and increasing the length of each day. Careful what you wish for. If only I could have more time in a day. Oh, not funny, I know. In a trend set to accelerate over this century as humans continue to pump out planet heating pollution, the changes are small, a matter of milliseconds a day, but in our high-tech, hyper-connected world have an important impact on computing systems we have come to rely on, including GPS. Really, really interesting. There's more to this article. I'll let you dig in if you're interested. And that's the news. I would love to hear from you. What did you think? Is there anything piece of news that you feel like I should have talked about? Yes, there was an attempted assassination on former president and candidate Donald Trump, and I'm not trying to ignore it or avoid it. We don't really talk about politics. Plus, there will be short-term media impacts to financial news based on the president, but ultimately we'll see. It's supposed to be independent, so I like to think that, but we'll pay attention and stay tuned, but there won't be really anything to report until we know the results of the election, really. I mean, other than that, it's just speculation. So that's really why why I didn't want to talk about it. But anyway, okay, awesome. Have a good one. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.